We are live. Elizabeth Carnegie, we're live. Welcome to the first episode in 2020, right? We've got our fifth episode of the E3 show, Exploding Your Business, where we educate, equip, and empower entrepreneurs. I have a special guest with me today and a good friend of mine. We've got to know each other over the years.
Yes, we have.
And I'm sure many of you that are watching this probably have met Elizabeth Carnegie. If not, you've talked to her on the phone. But Elizabeth, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Corey. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, you excited for the new year?
I am, very.
I know, you got a lot of goals too.
Yes,
so.
I do.
Excited to have you here because obviously you have a lot of knowledge. You've been with Master Networks. Why don't you tell them how long you've been with Master Networks and what your role is here also?
So I've been a member of Master Networks. Actually, this month marks my 6th anniversary of being 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years being a member of Master Networks. And I've been working with HQ. March 1st will be 3 years. So it's been just shy of 3 years that I've been working directly with HQ.
And let's not forget that you created your own job here at Master Networks because you wanted to work here so bad.
Yes, I did.
Right.
I wanted to be part of this. I wanted to be part of the movement. The job I wanted didn't exist. So I created a job. I figured out how to get paid for it. And I proved my worth until Chaz is willing to bring me on full time.
So first tip of the day is if you want a job and they don't have one for you somewhere and you're looking for a job, create your own job and present it. Because you never know what could happen, right?
Absolutely.
What's the worst thing that can happen? You could say no. And
Yeah.
you didn't, and now look, here we
Well,
are.
initially he did, and then I had to prove myself.
That's true. That's true.
And eventually he said yes.
Well, I'm excited to have you with us, of course. Before we jump into the topic of the day, which I think we don't talk about it enough, and I'm excited to have a 3-show series on getting the most out of your membership and all the things that go into onboarding and things like that. But for everyone that's watching this, if it's your first time, second time, third time, whatever, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. It's Master Networks at YouTube, or Master Networks at YouTube. It's Master Networks on YouTube. Just search for it. We put a lot of content out on there. These shows are recorded. So even though this is on Facebook, you can get the recording on the Facebook page. You can also get it on the YouTube page. Subscribe so that as we add content, you're getting notified of new things that are coming up there. We have testimonials, commercials, all kinds of great stuff on there. The Connect, Share, Prosper podcast is also on the YouTube. So go subscribe there. Of course, if you're on our Facebook page now, follow along because we're constantly putting new content out and things like that too. So today's topic is, I think of when I became a new member at Master Networks, and I try and think back, even though that was a long time ago, and that was 5 years ago. So I haven't even been 6 years, but it's been 5 years. And I think about all of the overwhelming tools and resources we've had then, and now we even have a ton more. So it's a little overwhelming. But today we're going to talk about really how to make this Master Networks experience a life-changing experience and how to get the most out of it because it's so important. And how do you get the most value out of your membership? And this is a leadership show also. So you may be brand new to Master Networks. You may be a chapter president. You may be an area director. Maybe you're a regional partner. All of these topics and all of these tips and tricks are going to be something you can use whether you're brand new or you're a leader, right?
Right.
Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And one of the reasons we're talking about this is the E3 show, How to Explode Your Business. We know that Master Networks is the tool to really explode your business. So as we bring value to our members and are able to communicate that value, it grows your network, which will in turn grow your business. So it's a win for everybody.
It's a win. So if you're watching this show, whether it's live or you're watching this on a recording, the challenge for you, so I think it's important to issue a challenge at every show.
Absolutely.
So the challenge today is that you take 3 things that you learn on this show today and you share it with someone in Master Networks. I don't care if they've been with Master Networks for 6 months or 1 day or 5 years, that you share this, set up a face-to-face and share this information with someone else. And that's how we help each other. That's how we impact each other. So we're going to talk about new members and they don't know what they don't know. We're also going to talk about how we set the example as leaders. And then we're going to kind of wrap it up with all the tools and things like that we provide here at Master Networks. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Let's jump right in. So you're a new member. Tell me about your experience as a new member of Master Networks. If you can remember back, what was that like?
I can, absolutely. So when I first signed up, I actually had never been to a meeting. I was working in an insurance agency at the time, and my boss basically signed me up and said, this is a chapter meeting you're going to, so go network. So I walked into this having no idea even what it is. Most of our new members have at least seen a meeting before. I hadn't even seen a meeting. So I walked in not knowing what I was doing, not knowing really even what networking was, and just honestly scared.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. They started throwing around terms and phrases that I didn't really understand. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Even just like the reference, well, the back office. Well, what's the back office?
Yeah.
So there were so many things that I just didn't know. And I was really fortunate to have someone in that chapter. This was before we had new member advisors.
Yes.
But someone sat down with me and really walked me through all the things that they were talking about and all the tools, and helped familiarize me with even just the vocabulary.
Yes, the vocabulary, which we were talking about just a
Yes.
little while ago, right? Master Networks has its own vocabulary. I can think back to, and I had a similar experience, but many of you know, many of you don't know that my journey with Master Networks started in Pennsylvania, where I grew up. And I started one of the first chapters, the Bluebell chapter, who's still around. So if there's anybody watching from Bluebell, hello, anywhere. But Pennsylvania, and it was the first chapter in like the Philadelphia area. And there really wasn't, like, we didn't have a ton of resources. I mean, we had the model, we had the agendas. There were no PowerPoints. There were like half this stuff wasn't even developed yet. And same thing, it was daunting. I'm like trying to figure out how I'm going to get people to come to this meeting and see a value in it, right? And that's half the battle. But I reached out to headquarters very quickly and started to connect with folks here, and that became my resource. And now we've evolved that, and we've gotten much better. There's many more resources now, but yeah, it can be daunting. And so right now it's daunting in a different way. Right?
Yes,
it's in a different way. So
we've got so much. So I remember just being confused. Like, what is the back office? What is a face-to-face? What is the commitment to culture? These things that were being talked about, but I didn't really understand what any of that was.
Yeah.
And we found that's actually been fairly common with a lot of our members.
Yes.
Especially something like a face-to-face. There are other companies that call it something else,
Yep.
but to us, it's a face-to-face.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity last year to redesign our book that we use to train our regional leadership. We do a success school here at HQ, and we redesigned our book for Success School, and we realized we need a glossary of terms. Just something as simple as a glossary of terms.
Yes.
That people can be familiar with what it is we're talking about.
Sure.
So we realized just today, Corey and I, in talking about this, that this is something that we're going to add to our FAQ section in the back office. Yeah. So if you're not sure what it is we're talking about, we're going to put that in our FAQ.
Yeah.
So
learn the language.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Learn the language, live the culture, leverage the systems.
Yeah, we have our own language, and it's good to learn that.
Yes.
And look, if someone says one-on-one, everything's an opportunity for training.
Absolutely.
Right? Everything we do in Master Networks is an opportunity for training. I think too, and we've talked about this a lot, it's, there's some folks out there that have networked for 20 years, right? That's what they've done to grow their business, whether it's the chamber or other networking opportunities. And then there's folks that literally have never networked a day in their life. And I was kind of one of those. I was in real estate, and I made a lot of phone calls, called for sale by owners and expireds, and all of those things I did to grow a business, but never really get out and built the relationship piece. And it can be daunting alone. It can be daunting whether you've been in it for 20 years or not. And so what I'll say is, as a leader, so if you're a leader in your chapter, and by the way, there's a lot of leaders out there that don't feel like they're leaders. We're all leaders in some sort of way, right? So everyone can really look at anyone coming into Master Networks, and just don't assume that because they've been networking for 20 years, they understand what the meaning of a referral is, or what the true meaning and how to do a really strong face-to-face. Don't assume any of that. It's a clean slate, everyone that's coming in. And what do we say about us and everyone else?
There's no one else like us.
Right. There's no one else like us. There truly isn't. Is there aspects of Master Networks that are similar in other networking groups? There are, but we are nothing like anyone else, okay? And that's what you need to kind of tell people as leaders, as new folks are coming in. Look at it as a clean slate, and always an opportunity to show them maybe a new mindset on things, right? And encourage them to have an open mindset, an open thought process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as we're working through all of this, just keep in mind all the tools. We're not going to go too much into tools right now.
Right.
We're going to get into that a little bit, but we have so many tools to help you in your journey. And as you help, we talked about that clean slate with the new members as they come in.
Yep.
We have so many tools to help you through this. Don't ever feel like you have to do this alone.
Yep.
We have the resources for you, and we also have an amazing support team here at HQ.
Yes.
And we love taking your phone calls. We love hearing from our members. If you don't know something, we love to help you find it, help teach you about it. We love our members and love when you call us.
Yeah.
So just
sure.
don't forget, you have all the resources and tools you need to be successful.
Yes. So as leaders, we've got to set the example. Right.
Yes.
So if you are a leader, you're a chapter president, you're a vice president, you're on the welcoming committee, because by the way, that is a chapter leadership role. Mm-hmm. We've got to set the example, right? So yes. If a new member comes in and they have a question about direct track, or they have a question about bond or something like that, as leaders, we have to represent, we have to walk the walk and talk the talk, right?
Yes.
So we've got to know how to use direct track. We should be using direct track. We've got to set that example, or we can't expect any of our new members to come in and see a value in that. Because, if Elizabeth's been part of a chapter for a year and I'm a new member and I join and I have my first face-to-face with Elizabeth, and, I ask the question, what is direct track? And you say, oh, I've logged in, but I really haven't used it. And there's no value in that new member using direct track.
Right.
So you have to use these tools.
Right. Everything we do is training. Everything we do is training. And one of the things that's really important is we as leaders train other people, not just how to treat us, but how to treat the chapter.
Yes.
So if we're treating it casually, if we're not using direct track, if we're not passing referrals, if we're not reporting our ROI, if we're not finding subs when we're out, we are training our members that that's all acceptable. That's okay. Yep. Well, no one in my chapter leadership ever finds a sub. I guess I don't need to either. Well, no one in my chapter is reporting their ROI. I guess I don't need to either. We are training people how to treat master networks and their chapter, as well as the other members of the chapter.
Yep. Yeah. Showcases everything that we do, right?
Yes.
It's not, when a new member comes into master networks, we don't put them on the showcase schedule. And I hope this, and yes, has it happened? It's happened, right? But the goal is not to put them on the showcase schedule and tell them they have 10 minutes to talk about their business. The goal is to train them on the proper way to do a showcase. We have the tools and resources. We have videos in Master Networks University, and it's our job to sit with those new members and say, this is the layout, the platform for the skeleton for a showcase. This is how you organize your showcase. This is the important things you want to do. And we want them to get better.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And then we model that for them.
Yes.
We don't put them on immediately because we want them to see what a showcase looks like. It's the same reason that our visitors don't do their sound bites until after all the members have gone. We want to model that behavior.
Yep.
So as chapter leaders, whether you're a chapter president or you're on the events team, you are a leader. And we really should be modeling that behavior for our new members and for our visitors.
Yep. One of the other important things also, as a new member, whether you're brand new and you're listening at this, maybe you just joined Master Networks. One of the keys is I completely lost my train of thought. I have it written down and I forgot what I was talking about. I don't know. I forgot what I was talking about. That's okay. It's fine. We'll keep moving. It'll come back to me.
One of the other things I want to mention is I'm the numbers person here at HQ. I'm the one that pulls the numbers for reporting and for awards. And I'll tell you, one of the things that we have learned is the people that are reporting the most referrals sent and the most face-to-faces are also the people reporting the highest ROI.
Yep.
And that is a formula that we have found to be successful everywhere in the country.
Yep.
It's not unique to any one area. It's been true everywhere. It's referrals sent, not referrals received. Referrals sent plus face-to-faces equals the highest ROI. And when you're in chapter leadership, you tend to be more visible.
Yes.
People see you more. People are more aware of you. So there also has been a correlation between being in chapter leadership and having those higher numbers.
For sure. And I have I have an actual story
I
for
love
that,
it.
as a matter of fact. So recently I was in the Pennsylvania region this past weekend, and we did a member appreciation, kind of an awards night. We had some entertainment, got everybody together, and we handed out we handed out several awards, but two of the awards, one was most referrals sent in the region, and the other one was highest ROI received in the region. And what do you think the equation was? Do you think the same person got both awards?
It's likely, yes.
They got both awards, okay? And they gave over 83 referrals in 1 year, but their ROI received was over $35,000. 1 year,
That's
2019.
amazing.
So it is a formula. It is a formula. And those are the things that as leaders, we have to show as good examples of what the value is if you put the time and effort into it. I remembered what I wanted to say.
Okay.
One of the most important things, whether you're brand new or you're in a chapter position right now, chapter leadership position, is we have to come from a mindset of serving. So get involved quickly. Get involved in serving in some sort of a role. Go into Master Networks University. It's a great place to explore different options for leadership. We have different videos in there that'll show you really what is the role for each person. So I encourage you to do that.
Absolutely. And there are lots of opportunities. You don't have to be a chapter president to be in a leadership role. There are so many opportunities to serve. In fact, I know of one chapter that felt like they had pretty robust teams and still people that didn't have a position. So they created essentially a charity team. So they wanted to be able to give back to the community. So they created a team for that and added more people to that. When you introduce your leadership team at the beginning of your chapter meeting, I firmly believe every single member of that chapter should stand. Every single member should be on a team. In my chapter, we have 7 people on the training and development team, which is amazing because then the weight doesn't fall just on the vice president to do all of the training. We get to rotate that through other members. So you get other voices and other opinions. And one person isn't doing it all the time. But you better believe when it's your turn to train, you're there, you're prepared, you're ready. It's been really good having that buy-in. That's really what it is. You have a stronger buy-in into your chapter. It increases your attendance, it increases your face-to-faces, it increases your ROI to serve in a leadership position.
Increases the ownership of your membership.
Yes,
really
absolutely.
Does. Any questions, any chats, anything going on down there? We just want to make sure we don't miss anything. If you're just tuning in, again, we are here with the E3 show. I'm here with Elizabeth Carnegie, and we're talking all about how to make Master Networks a life-changing experience, and all the things you don't know until you know them, right? So
exactly.
Let's continue on though, and let's finish up with the last topic, which is all the tools and resources that we have. Goodness. We'll probably miss a couple, but we're gonna go through a couple of the tools and resources. I have a couple of them here. One of the things.
Can I start with the online tools before we get to the physical tools?
Let's do that.
Okay. The back office. Again, I mentioned I had no idea what that was. If you're looking for where to find all of the training materials, those are all in the back office, as well as additional things. There's Corey mentioned Master Networks University and the videos on leadership. There's also a page in the back office that describes the different leadership teams and also the qualities that make a good member of that team. So it's a great resource to go look at and say, hey, this fits me, this fits what I like. Maybe I would be a good member for this team. So the back office is chock full of all of our meeting material resources. Then we have Direct Track. We've mentioned Direct Track a couple of times. This is how we track everything. So your referrals, your face-to-faces, the meeting attendance. It's how chapter leadership tracks meeting attendance. But to me, most importantly, this is also our national directory. You have access to our entire national directory.
That's our Direct Track. So if you don't have this on your phone, it's very simple. Log into Direct Track and you can, am I going the wrong way? Closer? How's that? You log into Direct Track and then you just make this part of your home screen on your phone, and you just click on it as an icon. So very easy to access and very easy to use. Very
easy to use. And I love that I have access to members all over the country. And I've sent referrals across the country. If I knew someone maybe in Minnesota or Pennsylvania that needed something, I look first to a Master Networks member, and also through other opportunities, I've developed relationships across the country, and I have easy access to be able to send them referrals right through Direct Track. So you have all of that right there on your phone. Master Networks University. There is so much in Master Networks University, and we are always looking to add more to it. In fact, I know our amazing video team is working on editing additional videos.
There they are. They're over here behind
They're over here behind us. I know they've got a lot of videos they're working on getting edited so we can get them into Master Networks University. There is the new member orientation that helps all of our new members understand the basics. There's training on how to run a successful chapter. There's training on the 5 business disciplines and how to grow stronger, better businesses. There is so much information in Master Networks University. I don't know how people aren't in this every single day because there is so much there. And it's one of those tools that so many of our members miss. Yep. In fact, the number of members that have never logged into university is actually a little bit hard for me because I know the value of the content in Master Networks University.
It's a great tool also if you have a team. So if you're on a real estate team or an insurance team or whatever, if you're part of a team, use Master Networks University. It's part of your membership. Use that with your team. You know, if there's something in the chapter meeting that week, maybe it's a tidbit or the training piece that isn't something specific you might be going through in your business that week or month, go to Master Networks University. I guarantee you there's something in there that's going to relate to what you're going through, what challenges you have that you can use with your teams also, or not your teams. It could be an individual.
Well, you may have a sales team and you're struggling with how to communicate who your ideal client is. There's an advanced training module on identifying your ideal client. So whatever it is you're going through, we've got so much in there. Chances are you're going to find something there to help.
Yes. So should I give some tangible stuff also?
Yes, let's give some tangible stuff.
All right, so training tidbits. We actually have a training tidbit book. I don't know if you can see that, right? Okay, so let me back up for a second. So in addition to online, all of these things that I'm going to show you are in our Master Network store. So if you didn't know we have a store, it's masternetworkstorefront.com. That'll take you to our Master Network store. There's anything you can possibly think of Master Networks is in there. So our training tidbit books, okay, so this is 2 years, right? 2 years of training tidbits in here that you can take. Look, you can actually write notes down. Really cool to have a copy of this.
And again, a great training manual.
Training.
This isn't specific to Master Networks. This is business and personal training right here.
And as you're introducing others to Master Networks, if you go do a face-to-face with someone you're inviting to a chapter, you can show these are good gifts, right? Give a gift to someone that you're meeting with about Master Networks, and they really kind of get to understand what Master Networks is much more than a meeting, which we talk about all the time. Yes. Our 5+1 book, this should be in everyone's arsenal. Literally, everyone should have a copy of this. This is the spiral bound one, which I love because I have this on my desk all the time, and I'm always flipping to it, coaching somebody, whatever it might be, coaching myself. I have one of these. We also have the regular bound one, the Luck book. So this was a book that we collaborated with several Master Networks members at the time, and everyone wrote a different chapter. I think there's 12 chapters in here maybe. So really good book that some members have collaborated on. I was lucky enough to be an author in this book, which is really cool, and Chaz is in here. So pick up a copy of Luck.
So I'm not going to say this just because he's sitting next to me, but Corey's chapter is actually still my favorite chapter.
Oh, stop.
And I was in a group text with some friends, and
stop.
I'm not kidding. I quoted Corey. I pulled out my copy of Luck, and I quoted Corey because it exactly pertained to the conversation we were having.
Well, I appreciate that.
Great.
I appreciate that. And I fought writing anything into that book, by the way. I did. I fought it. You can ask Chaz. I fought it, but I wrote it, and I got it in there.
And so you did a great job.
I'm glad it resonated with someone.
It did.
Now Make Good is one of Chaz's other books. Pick that book up. We also have, for those of you who don't know, like there's all this training that happens in these meetings that we have, right? 5+1 Mastery is a coaching program, and this is a whole entire playbook that you get if you join our coaching program. So if you're looking for something next level, if you want more, and I think we all get to a point where we want more training, want more coaching, whatever it is, Mastery is the way to go.
So it's a group coaching program. There's a private online Facebook group, and then they have weekly calls with a variety of coaches that coach on a number of different elements of the playbook. So it's a weekly call plus the support group online. It's an amazing program. If you're looking for what's going to take your business to the next level, definitely look into the Mastery coaching program.
And look, there's a lot of resources. I mean, we probably just touched the surface on the main resources that That takes some time. And what I'll say is, I would say this to anybody, whether they're joining Master Networks or whatever, you're joining a new company. I remember when I joined the real estate company, which was Keller Williams, and I joined Keller Williams. There's so much technology. I remember joining that first week and like just being overwhelmed with all the technology and things they had. Take your time, but go in and use these resources, get to know them, get to understand that they're there, and just take some time, block some time each week to look into these resources, because I guarantee you, you won't find anything else out there like this. You won't. The university alone is powerful. You can access it 24 hours a day. You can access in your PJs, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
All right. Couple other resources, I guess, would be events. So we say it's much more than a chapter, right? So you have chapters, but then you also have Connect, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But you have regional events also. So quarterly regional events should be happening in your regions. We're working on getting more of those planned. I know Chaz is traveling around and doing a bunch of workshops.
I think he's doing 6 in 6 different regions in the next 2 months.
Yes, I know he'll be in Pennsylvania in June, so we're kind of talking through that to do a workshop. But there's other things. There's socials. There's other ways to get involved. And I think you and I were talking about this. It's not necessarily like pick and choose what you want to get involved with, but get involved with something. Show up to these things. That's how you get to meet these other members from these other chapters. Don't think your chapter is the only relationships you're building, right?
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to wrap this thing up.
Okay.
But as I do with every guest, what would be something that you could tell them that you have a lot of experience, you've talked to a lot of members, you've been in chapters. What's like one of the couple of things that maybe is a mistake that people make when they join Master Networks or even ongoing? Like what would be something to just be cautious of?
I'll tell you the biggest mistake I see is people who treat this casually. It's a show up when I want or when it's convenient. This is a very casual thing. It's not intentional, and they don't really put any effort into it. They show up to their meetings when it's convenient. They're not having face-to-faces. They're not putting any real effort or intention into this, because when you do that, you're not really going to see the growth and the opportunity. And I'll tell you, there is too much at stake for us to treat this casually.
That's so true. I mean, whether you have a family or whatever it is, you owe it to yourself, right, to make this the best year it possibly can be with your businesses. Mm-hmm. And trust us when we say Master Networks is that tool for you.
Yes.
That meeting every single week should be the most important meeting that you have on your calendar. Because if you think about it, you can have one client meeting and miss a chapter meeting, but that's one client.
Right.
You have a Salesforce we talk about, right?
Yes.
You have a Salesforce every single week that you can meet with. You should time block really your calendar around the chapter meeting every single week to get the most out of this.
Absolutely. I agree.
Let's talk about Connect for a minute, okay? Because I feel like, for one, the pricing's going up on the 13th.
Yes,
right?
it is. So get your ticket now.
Get your ticket for Connect. Connect is going to be here in April 16th, 17th, 18th. It's going to be here in Dallas. And it's a 3-day event. We're including a kids portion from 10 to 17 years old. So if you have an entrepreneurial child or you know someone, bring them with you. This is something you really can't miss. And here's the reason. So whether you are or you aren't right now, you should be at least investing in yourself every single year. Maybe that's 2 events you do every year. So you go to a workshop, you go to some sort of an event, a conference, whatever it is. Why not make Connect one of those this year? If you've been to Connect before, probably talking to the choir, right? You've been here, you understand the power of Connect and what that can do for your business and your relationships. I was just recently talking to one of our members, and she said, how are you getting people to come to Connect because they have to travel and things like that? It's fun to travel together. Get a group of people, come together. It's fun. And here's the thing. Whether it's Connect or any other conference, choose Connect this year. Come to Connect. But let's just say, the person that you need in your life, the person that really can change the trajectory of your future, business partner, coach, whatever that might be, somebody you're going to co-market with, they could be at Connect. Mm-hmm. Or there might be something that you need to hear that's going to be at Connect and Connect only. You can't hear it anywhere else.
Yes.
Can you afford not to be at Connect and miss? Can you afford to miss either one of those things? That's why, now I'm part of the staff here, But even before I was, like, I didn't want to miss Connect because it was so powerful. I'd meet new people every year, and I'd learn something that would change my business.
I'm going to change that just slightly.
Okay.
Instead of a question, we're going to make that a statement.
Okay.
You can't afford to misconnect.
Yeah.
You can't afford to misconnect.
Yeah. You got to be
When
here.
Corey talks about you could meet that person or hear that thing. I am a living example of that. My life changed because of something I heard and a relationship that I formed through Master Networks.
Yep.
Connect changed the trajectory of my life for the better. So I'm going to flip it and not ask the question, but make the statement.
Love it.
You can't afford to misconnect.
So details for Connect, go get your tickets. Attend-connect.com is where you get your tickets. They are $297 right now. However, on the 13th, they're going up, I believe, $100. They're going up $100 on the 13th. So if you're on the fence, get your tickets. Bring someone with you. It'll be much more fun if you bring somebody with you too, right? It's fun to travel with someone. And if you have any questions, certainly reach out to us. But get your Connect tickets. It'll be here before you know it. It'll be here before you know it. It'll be April. I know we're in full Connect planning mode right now,
we are.
Which is exciting. And we're going to be announcing some news, some of our speakers and things like that in the coming weeks. So any other words of wisdom before we leave today? Anything else you can think of?
Just show up.
Show up.
It's really that simple.
Yeah.
Show up. Whatever it is, whether it's your chapter meeting, Connect, regional events, show up.
Yep.
Be present, be intentional. And Master Networks will be that tool that will help you explode your business.
Thank you. Yeah, and immerse yourself in the community. That's what this is. Immerse yourself in this. Whatever you put into this, you're going to get out of this, okay? But I can assure you that if you are showing up, like Elizabeth said, and show up in your chapter, be on time, things like that. Because we always say, you know, the other members are watching how you guys show up in your chapters. And I'm going to tell you right now, if someone's consistently late, you know, if they're 15, 20 minutes late every single week, I may not consider to give them a referral, because is that how they're going to show up with my client, right? So everything you're doing in those chapter meetings, you know, we're representing how we would be with a client, right? So just think about those things. Show up, get involved, serve, jump into the resources. Make this the best year, but make this Master Networks experience a life-changing experience for you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. This was so much fun.
Next show,
you're in for a treat.
You're in for a treat. So we're going to have Diane Castle with us. Diane has been a long-term member of Master Networks here in the Texas North region, and she's going to be diving into the specifics of new member advisors and how that can be of value to you guys as leaders and as new members, and how each chapter should have one, and how do you even go about it? What is it? How do we go about getting someone in place that's kind of running the show with new members that are being onboarded? So thank you so much. Thank you guys for all you're doing. Have a great rest of your week. And we will talk to you next month.